Hello, welcome. My name is Robert Denton. Yesterday, YouTube kindly sent me a little video explaining how important it is to make my videos funny. Now, my videos are about something very serious, that is overwhelming stress, high stress, overwhelming stress and burnout. They are very serious. They are not funny, but I'll take their advice and we'll see what happens. Okay, now I went through burnout. That wasn't funny. But the funny thing is that out of it came this book. I wrote it about my experience going through burnout and how I discovered high performance after burnout. However, you'll see the main message there on the subtitle is fix the stress before the burnout or the damage is done. Okay, now that is a serious message. It's as funny as I can make it. It doesn't get any more serious than your life being trashed. Okay, now the book is available at Amazon.com. I hope you find that funny. But for those, funnily enough, for those in Switzerland who want to buy the book from Amazon, you can't because of Swiss government restrictions. However, you can, funnily enough, contact the Swiss publisher firsthousepress@gmail.com. This email address has been set up especially for obtaining the book. And you contact First House Press and they'll tell you how much the book is and how to apply it. You can pick it up in person or it can be sent to you at your Swiss address. Good. Okay, now having got the commercial one more thing. There are 3 unfunny videos that I made already, and I put the email address there and also the previous 3 emails. You might want to watch them, but you probably don't. The problem is that they contain important information. Anybody who is in serious stress, funny enough, will or might want to know what that information is. However, it is all in the book. And funnily enough, these videos are made to sort of jazz the book up in the sense of add a little more content. Right, now, as I said, stress and burnout are not pretty. They muck up your life, but funnily enough, all the people I've met, including myself, have got something very important out of it. Really, as far as I can see, the message of high stress and burnout is really we're doing the wrong things. We are, first of all, funnily enough, I think enough of that funny stuff, for goodness sake. We do burnout to ourselves, and we do it by dint of our beliefs, values, and how we work. Usually people who go through burnout are very conscientious and maybe workaholic, and they tend to overdo the work thing. I certainly did. Nobody else does burnout to us. We do it to ourselves by virtue of what we think, how we think, and how we think we are doing, our sort of personal feedback. Yeah, funnily enough, that's it. However, let's not dwell on that. The thing is, if you can fix the stress, do. And one of the ways to fix the stress is to have a look at yourself. I did that after burnout, having lost my companies because I couldn't manage them anymore as a result of the burnout. One really does need to fix that stress. And first of all, you do that by analyzing yourself. I analyzed myself afterwards and realized really how I'd got it wrong. So wrong in believing that I had to do so much. While I was working and getting all stressed out, I actually realized, I thought it's amazing how much I do during a day compared to other people. And that was it. I was pushing myself right to the limit throughout the day. And my day started at 6 o'clock. I'd be in the office. Soon after 6, I'd be at one or other of my depots, business depots, not long after, and then I would be on the go until 7 or 8 at night. And if I really had a lot of work, for example, I had some reports that had to be finished, then I could be still in my office at midnight or after. Okay, now, if any of those things ring a bell, then this is what you need to do. First of all, as I said, analyze yourself. Analyze how you're working and what you believe. And it's not that you have to do so much. The trouble is, if you start doing too much and you work for somebody else, if you slow down, they'll notice the difference and say, why aren't you working so well? Well, yeah, good question. So maybe you have to do it gently because we don't want to scare bosses. I was my own boss, but if you've got a boss, you don't want to scare them in thinking you're about to burn out. So slow down very, very gently. Now, you can compensate this by higher performance, but less work and less stress. Whoa. How do you do that? Well, funnily enough, it's not with the conscious mind that has been doing all that stress stuff and thinking you've got to do everything that you do. It's with your subconscious mind. And I discovered that, and it wasn't through my sheer genius that I discovered that. I discovered it through, after burnout, I wanted to know what burnout was all about and what stress is all about. And so I learned all about cortisol and how cortisol mucks up our brain and our body, and why we produce so much of it to muck up our brain and our body. And then I started studying neuroscience, and also the modern neurosciences like coaching, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. This is how we think and why we think the way we think. And if you haven't studied that, it's a good idea to do it. But please don't do a correspondence course. You really need to do the real thing with a very good school. Otherwise, it's just not worth doing. And then I studied what's called sports coaching or sports mind coaching. It's actually sports subconscious mind coaching. And this is how all the top professional sports people perform so well. They do not perform through sheer mental power of driving themselves to be the best. No, they have a special coach. Like me, I'm one of them. I trained in it. And this is how I began to understand the power of the subconscious mind. And so what it is it's using the things we do automatically every day without thinking about them. We actually do them with a subconscious mind. And so for example, you know how to go home. Assuming you haven't just moved there the day before and you've got to work out how the heck do I get home. No, you do that automatically. You don't have to think about how you go home. You may catch a bus, a train, another bus and a bicycle and heavens knows what. and then get in your car and then finally get home. Or you might just walk home, or through the town, a complicated set of streets, but you know how to get home. You do that with your subconscious mind. So there's nothing extraordinary about it. And sports mind coaching cottoned on to this and realized that out of NLP, they could take it 2 or 3 steps further, and began training the subconscious mind to perform at peak performance. Now, the interesting thing is subconscious mind does not suffer from stress. You can't stress it. It's so enormous. It's a different world, a different stratosphere. But with sports mind coaching, you've got to get it absolutely right, because if you program a fault into it, it'll just keep repeating that fault. It's like programming into your journey home deviation that takes you back to your previous home. Whoa, hang on. And that's sort of what professional sports people have to be wary of. It's their previous home of high performance or professional performance was out of their conscious mind. And so if they program into their subconscious mind what they have in their conscious mind, then it ain't gonna work. So programming subconscious high performance is very, very special and has to be absolutely clean as a whistle of any possibility of an error. And that's done through very, very trained people like myself. And you can use this not just for sports, you can use it for your job. And I used it to get myself out of burnout, because one thing of burnout is there's a thing called the want to but cannot syndrome, and it's a self-protection system in the subconscious brain that prevents us from doing what we did before that got us into burnout. It's very important to be able to create high performance subconscious mind programs which enable you to do your job without getting into high stress, overwhelming stress and burnout. Now that's it for now. Register so you get to the next video. I hope you find this very serious subject that I presented it in as light a way as I can. It's not funny, seriously, it's not funny. But that's the funny thing about it, is that it's so awful that it almost becomes funny when I think about what I had to do to get myself out of burnout. And playing or working with subconscious mind is fascinating, and it became my passion. So in many senses, I find a great deal of joy and fun out of doing it. So in that sense, it's fun, yes. So that's it for now. See you next time. This is Robert Denton signing off.